Every year on February 14th, couples from around the world gather to celebrate their love. Usually there is a nice dinner, a gift, maybe a card, and just a general outpouring of love and affection. Ugh, gross. Of course, I am talking about the holiday of love, Valentine's Day. But how did Valentine's Day come to be a day that celebrates love? Was it always this way? And how did it start? The story of how Valentine's Day got to be the candy-giving, rose-smelling, Cupid arrow-shooting, mushy love fest that it is today is actually kind of complicated, unclear, and generally just a little bit weird. We get into the history of Valentine's Day right now. So to uncover the history of Valentine's Day, we have to go all the way back to ancient Rome in the 3rd century. And just like many things that happened thousands of years ago, there is some debate about the historical details behind the holiday. One thing's for sure, Valentine's Day has changed a lot over time. It wasn't always about heart-shaped candies and expensive gifts. Thanks a lot, capitalism. So let's start with the name of the holiday. Valentine's Day is named after the patron saint Valentine, which seems pretty simple, right? It's only one guy. Wrong-o! There is a lot of conflicting information out there about who exactly Saint Valentine was. You remember I mentioned that whole confusing, unclear thingy-diggy? Yeah, well, it starts here. Historians can't even seem to agree about who the true patron saint Valentine was. Most likely there were multiple men at the time named Valentine who performed heroic acts. In fact, the name Valentine is from the Latin word Valentinus, which means healthy and strong. And there were a lot of people who took up that name during this time period. Who wouldn't want to be healthy and strong, right? Sup, I'm healthy and strong, call me Valentine, peace, cool. The most popular theories are that Valentine was either a normal priest or the true Valentine was the Bishop of Tournai. Either way, Valentine had a strong association with the Christian faith. So it's really hard to know who is the true patron saint Valentine. Often their stories overlap so much and have a lot of the same actions and themes that most people believe it was just one individual. In every account you can find, Valentine is a martyr, which means he dies doing what he believes is right. In these stories, this is at the hands of the Roman emperor, who is pagan and not Catholic. You see, to become a martyr, you have to make a great sacrifice. And no matter what story you read about Valentine, it always ends the same. He dies. Sorry, Val. Can I call you Val? For this video, we are going to focus on Valentine as just one person, as we try to explain what made them such a popular and influential figure in history. Here are some of the legends surrounding the patron saint Valentine, and through these stories you will come to see how he became associated with love. One legend is at the time the Roman emperor outlawed marriage for his soldiers. He thought that soldiers who were single were better fighters than those who had families and kids. Valentine said, that's not cool. And he continued to perform marriages for soldiers in secret, going totally against the emperor's wishes. When Valentine was discovered breaking the law, he was thrown in jail. And they say that even while in jail, he continued to heal and perform miracles on other prisoners. Another legend is that while in jail, Valentine actually fell in love. Legend says that he fell in love with his jailer's daughter. Now, while he was in the slammer, he was eventually put to death. But before he was put to death, he sent this person a letter, a love letter, which he signed "From Your Valentine," an expression that we still use to this day. So while it's hard to pin down who exactly was the true patron saint Valentine, all the stories surrounding him have the same themes. He's seen as a kind, caring, and most of all, romantic figure. Fun fact, you can actually see the skull of Saint Valentine on display in Rome. In the 1800s, a catacomb was unearthed which found a skeleton which they believed was the patron saint Valentine. Now, little bits and pieces of the skeleton were scattered all around the world for viewing. It's kind of weird, honestly. So now that we got the name out of the way, let's talk about the date. Valentine's Day is always celebrated in the middle of February, February 14th to be exact. And just like with the patron saint, there is debate among historians about exactly why that is. Some believe Valentine's Day is celebrated on this day to commemorate the death or burial of the true patron saint Valentine, which happened around 270 AD. Others claim that the Christian church might have had a hand in it. They may have decided to place Valentine's Day in the middle of February in order to Christianize the pagan holiday Lupercalia. Holiday fight! Alright, so we've got the person and we've got the date, but how did Valentine's Day come to be about love? One theory? Nature. During the Middle Ages in places like England and France, it was commonly believed that February 14th was the beginning of the bird's mating season. This led some to associate Valentine's Day with romance. Then the poets got involved. Ugh, those darn artists with their words and stuff and words and stuff. The English poet Geoffrey Chaucer was the first to record Valentine's Day as a day of love and romance in his 1375 poem, Parliament of Fowls.
For this was sent on St. Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate.
Beautiful. Valentine's Day greetings started to gain popularity as the years went on. However, the first written Valentine did not appear until after 1400. The oldest known written Valentine still in existence today was written in 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans, when he was imprisoned in the Tower of London. He wrote it to his wife. Alright, so we're creeping up closer and closer to modern times. Now let's talk about cards. How did sending a Valentine's Day card become such a big deal? According to Hallmark, 145 million Valentine's Day cards are sent every year. It's the second largest card-giving holiday. Christmas still got it beat, though. St. Nick's got you beat, sorry, Cupid. In Great Britain, Valentine's Day started to become popularly celebrated around the 17th century. By the middle of the 18th century, it was common for friends and lovers of all social classes to exchange small tokens of affection and handwritten notes. By the 1900s, cards started to replace those handwritten notes due to advancements made in printing technology. Ready-made cards became an easy way for people to express their love and affection. You no longer had to be a poet or an amazing writer to show somebody that you love them. You could just go down to your local store and purchase a prepackaged love note. Cheaper postage rates at the time also increased the popularity of sending Valentine's Day greetings. Mail. It is believed that Americans started exchanging handmade Valentines in the early 1700s. I'm gonna make it myself. Gorgeous. In the 1840s, Esther A. Howland began selling the first mass-produced Valentines in America. Howland is known as the mother of the Valentine. Alright, we're almost done here, but what about Cupid? The diaper-wearing, bow-toting little cherub love creature. Like many things associated with the holiday, Cupid has changed a lot over time. Now, Cupid is a Roman god, but the Romans took the inspiration for him from the Greek god Eros. Eros was a son of Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love. Now, according to the Greeks, Eros was kind of a troublemaker. He was a handsome, young god who played with the emotions of others. He would shoot people with a golden arrow, and that would not just make them fall in love, but it could also make them fight. He played with the emotions of others, causing conflict. He was kind of a troublemaker. But Cupid ended up being a lot different than the god he was supposed to copy. The Romans took inspiration from Eros, but changed him a lot, transforming him into the smaller, more childlike figure we know Cupid as today. Romans were all like, I want that, but make it a baby. Big lowdown. In more modern times, Cupid's popularity began to grow around the Renaissance, when artists started to include him in works as a symbol of love. It wasn't until the 1800s that Cupid, because of his past associations with love and romance, started to be commonly included on Valentine's Day cards and became an unofficial symbol of the holiday. Alright everybody, that's all the time I have. Thank you for joining me on this video about the history of Valentine's Day. As you can see, it's a little murky, it's a little strange, but it's pretty cool. See you next time.